back, and the chair now recognizes Mr. Crane for 5 minutes.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. This is for both of you. Were you here for the panel prior?
We were in another room, but we were able to watch some of it on the TV.
Okay. I'm going to start with you, Mr. K. I'll just say Mr. K. Is that all right? Or you go ahead and tell me how to pronounce it.
You can say Kahangama.
Kahangama. Okay. Do you trust the government to censor American speech?
Respectfully, Congressman, the Department of Homeland Security does not censor content.
Okay. Did you hear Mr. Schellenberger's evidence about how our government was using some of its institutions and organizations to censor the speech of Americans on social media? Were you here for that?
I saw the hearing, the first part, yes.
Okay. So are you arguing that that wasn't censorship?
I'm not familiar with what exactly you're referencing.
Okay. Well, he had emails going from our government to social media platforms flagging and requesting the removal of social media posts. Do you classify that as censorship?
So while I heard the testimony, Mr. Schellenberger, I haven't reviewed the specific documents that you are referencing, so I can't speak to the veracity of them.
Okay, well, let's just go general then. Do you think that it's censorship for the federal government to be reaching out to social media platforms and asking them to remove postings from American citizens?
Thank you, Congressman. I would reiterate that the Department of Homeland Security does not engage in content moderation conversations with social media companies.
Okay, that's not what I asked you. Okay, do you study history, Mr. K?
Generally.
Generally, okay. What about you, ma'am, Ms. Harrington? Generally?
Generally.
Okay. Typically, what types of governments censor their own people? Go ahead. Either of you.
Authoritative.
Yeah. Sir?
Yeah, I would agree.
Do totalitarian governments do that? Yes, no? It's not hard.
Broadly, yes.
Do communistic governments do that? Socialistic governments do that? Why do you think they do that? Why do they think that they try and control the speech of their own people? Ma'am, Ms. Harrington?
Yes, I think that's correct. Probably political control.
Yeah, absolutely. Mr. K?
Yeah, I would agree.
Do you think it's important that we try not to become like them?
I believe this government is not like them. I believe we are respectful of our constitutional rights. We ensure that all the work that we are doing is protected by our civil liberties and civil rights offices, and we do that with respect to all of our freedoms, including—
Well, thank you, but I would actually respectfully disagree with that point of view. As a matter of fact, if you were paying attention to some of the evidence produced in the last panel, you would know that. As somebody who's involved in law enforcement, that was evidence, sir. That's what any law enforcement officer would consider evidence. Those emails going from our government to social media platforms, flagging and requesting the removal of posts and speech from American citizens. So you can sit there and you can give me all the little canned answers you want, but when you actually open your mind and are willing to look at the evidence being presented, it's obvious. Now, this shouldn't be a partisan issue. We all know that on this panel. It shouldn't be a Democrat or Republican issue. It should be, are we willing to become like other totalitarian governments, communistic governments, socialistic governments that censor the speech of our own people? And I hope you two take this very seriously, because I'm sure that many of the people that have participated in some of these communistic, totalitarian governments in history felt like they were doing the right thing. And so I hope that you guys take this very seriously, and I hope you take our Constitution very seriously and free speech, because I'll tell you this, it is most important to protect free speech, not when you agree with people, but when you disagree with them. Thank you. I yield back.
At the beginning of this year, I was on the ground at the Del Rio sector of the U.S.-Mexico border, working with law enforcement, spending time with those victimized by the cartels, and seeing firsthand the raw truth of President Biden's border crisis. Upon returning to Washington, I introduced the Stop Taxpayer Funding of Traffickers Act to ensure hard-working American taxpayers are not forced to fund the lifestyles of offenders who are making our country more dangerous by smuggling deadly fentanyl and trafficking young girls. Abusing and using a child again and again is one of the most heinous acts imaginable, and yet it happens every single day along the southern border. That's why I introduced 3 pieces of legislation this year to combat child trafficking. One would require a DNA test to determine the familial relationship between illegal immigrants coming across the border and any accompanying children. One would empower Border Patrol agents to fingerprint non-citizens under the age of 14. And another bipartisan bill would authorize $50 million for a grant program to prevent the trafficking of women and girls. Especially as the Biden administration still cannot locate 85,000 migrant children, passing this legislation could not be more critical. This is also no more urgent threats to our nation's security than our open southern border. Earlier this month, FBI Director Wray told the Senate Judiciary Committee that he sees blinking lights everywhere he turns, and said since Hamas's October 7th attack on Israel, the potential threat to the U.S. is, and I quote, higher than it has been in a long, long time, end quote. 169 potential terrorists attempted to come in through the southern border last fiscal year, and 98 the year before that. Since October 1, not even 3 months into this fiscal year, we've seen over 500,000 illegal immigrants flood the border and 65,000 known gotaways. Currently, CBP is telling us that an average of 5,000 illegal immigrants are being released into our country every day. It makes you wonder how many illegal immigrants on the terrorist watch list have evaded the detection of Border Patrol. How many are in the gotaways? And you know, we know Iran is watching, and so are its proxies. Hezbollah, Hamas, the Houthis, ISIS, and Biden's open border has made it so that any number of them can walk straight into the United States. Make no mistake, the situation at our southern border is a humanitarian and national security crisis of catastrophic proportions. It's simply unsustainable. In the new year, I will continue to make it one of my top priorities to support victims of human trafficking and to safeguard our national security and secure our southern border. Thank you.